Hey there. Welcome back to Author Talk. I'm John Hartness, founder and publisher of Falstaff Books, and joining me today, wearing a different hat than you've seen her.
I don't have a hat.
We need a hat. Stat. Somebody give me a hat.
If you told me. It went away.
There was Kirby, which I was going to put on Misty's head, but I dropped it, so the gag failed. So yay, comedy. Anyway, if you like this stupid shit, be sure to like and subscribe and ring the bell to get notified, because I'll do more dumb crap later. But today, we're not going to talk about dumb crap. We're actually going to talk about something really useful for writers at any level in their career, and that is writing conferences.
Yes.
Now, Misty, we have both taught at writing conferences of varying sizes and other professional development conferences, but now we run one?
We do.
What did we do that for?
I don't know. Saga is the writing conference that we run. We started last year. Well, no, we started
in 2020.
We started in the before times. In the long ago, before we all got locked in our houses for a while.
Literally the week before we were locked in our houses for a while. The world shut down a week after Saga in 2020.
But it had nothing to do with us. We were not responsible for that.
I'm not going to make those claims. And really, I'm just blaming it all on Richard Cadry.
That's good. Yes, he was our guest of honor that year.
So it's Cadry's fault. Sorry, y'all.
But the Saga Writing Conference is different from, I know a lot of you have probably been to science fiction and fantasy conventions where you see panels about writing, staffed with writers who tell you things that you need to know. And those are great. The writing conference model is different because we are entirely focused on writers who are wanting to build their craft and doing deep dives, having longer classes, usually with single instructors who go really specifically into the topics that they are presenting. And the whole idea behind it is to help you find better ways to present your work, to approach publishers, to make yourself saleable for publishing. And that's what a writing conference is.
Yeah, it's basically 3 days where you are in a hotel with like-minded writers. Some are going to be ahead of you on their career curve. Some of them are going to be behind you on the career curve. Some of them are going to be right there where you are, and you're listening to people present full 90-minute talks on a topic. So, for example, we'll have Nicole Kurtz, who you've seen on some of our videos. She'll be teaching writing horror and writing short stories. The disembodied voice that you've seen on some of our videos is our marketing director. She'll actually be embodied and teaching some things on marketing and social media. Yeah. We have Maurice Broadus will be joining us as our guest of honor this year. Maurice will be teaching multiple classes.
He's going to be teaching world building as one of his classes. And
that's
I'm really
excellent.
Looking forward to that.
So this is, I lifted the idea wholesale from Kevin Anderson's Superstars of Writing. And I told him I was going to do that. We sat in a bar at Dragon Con and I talked with Kevin and some of the folks that work with him with Superstars and asked questions, because Superstars is a phenomenal event. It's one of the best of its kind. It's also in Colorado Springs. And I live in North Carolina. So I wanted to create something that was more drivable for the people that I could interact with on this coast. And there isn't anything other than Saga east of the Mississippi, really.
Not genre-based, no.
And that's the big thing, because we've done writing conferences that are, and I'm doing a couple more this year, where I'm going and I might be the only science fiction and fantasy guy there. You know, there may be one genre panel or presentation over the course of the whole weekend.
Yeah, in the South, you will run into a lot of writing conferences that are focused on literary or even memoir writing, and that's fine. There are markets for that, but we saw the need for more genre based classes, and that was why Saga was so exciting, because like John said, it's probably the only writing conference in the Southeast that does focus on genre, and by genre we mean horror, science fiction, fantasy, mystery, and romance.
We're looking to improve people's ability to write and sell commercial fiction, as opposed to literary fiction or poetry or memoir. We're looking for the stuff on the spinny racks in the drugstores when you were a kid. The stuff that I write, well, it doesn't fit into a lot of slots in a traditional writing conference.
Right.
But we sell a whole hell of a lot more books than a lot of folks. So if you are interested in craft and business, Saga is a great outlet. Another thing that differentiates us from several of the events that have come along in recent years is the focus on craft. Where we differ from a traditional writing conference is with having an entire track of business.
Right.
How we differ from a lot of the self-publishing and other conferences in recent years that have come up that are marketing to genre authors is that we also focus on craft, because they're only focused on business and marketing. Well, if you don't have a product that's good, then you're still just marketing garbage. And let's try not to market garbage. Let's try to make the stuff great and then use the tools we've learned in the business tracks to elevate the visibility of it. Because we don't just want to sell 1 million books. I do want to sell 1 million books. But I want to make good books first and then sell 1 million books.
The value, I think, especially with the business track, is that excuse me. The value, I think, with the business track is that so many writers work to hone their craft, work for years to hone their craft, and they get their books to the absolute best they can possibly be, and they submit them to a publisher, and the publisher accepts them, and then only then do the writers find out that they have no idea how the business side works. And so I was one of them. My first book came out from Tor, and I was so thrilled, and all of a sudden I was having to sign contracts, and I was having to answer questions that I didn't know anything about, and it kind of knocked me up against a wall, because nobody had told me any of this. And I run into writers often who don't understand that it's not just write something, get paid. There's a lot more.
I've said for ever since I got into this business that I was very happy that this was my second career. It's probably more like my fifth, but because having worked in specialty construction for a long time, I dealt with contracts all the time. You, me, and every writer we know put together has not signed contracts with the monetary value of building any one high school.
Right.
If I'm putting $1 million lighting system in a church, how many book contracts do you think it takes before most of us ever get to $1 million?
A lot more than I've gotten to, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that, knowing that it was all a negotiation, was a real boon to me when I was starting out in this business, because writers, it's funny that it seems like even writers who come to this later in life and have other careers and other experiences that could translate, they completely ignore the fact that all of that information might be useful.
Yeah.
Because it's writing, so it's all this super mysterious. It's not.
No.
It's not. If it was that hard, I wouldn't be able to do it, y'all. But there are a lot of pieces to it, and having a conference dedicated to writing genre and selling genre books, I feel like it's something that we're doing that nobody else is really doing in the space.
Right.
And if people would like to go to sagaconference.com and click on that buy tickets link, you can use the promo code Jordan, Jordan, for $50 off your ticket.
Ooh, that's a deal.
And you get a ticket to congregate free. Not really, you're paying for it, and I'm paying for it out of what you're paying me. But anyway, you can, July 12th through 14th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina,
Yep.
you can learn all day and congregate all night and have a great weekend with a pile of writers. And we'll have mixers, we'll have meet and greets, we'll have networking events so you can meet the faculty. People are always happy to talk to new writers.
We've got pitch sessions lined up with some editors of small presses that you can conceivably sell the book that you're working on right away.
Absolutely. You won't be able to sit at Saga, write a book, and sell it before you leave.
No, please don't.
You're not going to manage that. But you may be able to bring your newly polished book to Saga, and you may be able to leave with at least a handshake on a contract. And if you want to learn more about writing conferences, writing industry, writing craft, be sure to like, subscribe, tell a friend, telephone, telegraph,
Telephant.
Teleport.
telephone, and ring the bell to get notified. We'll be back sometime with more stuff about things and stuff.